So we've seen a lot of pretty dumb stuff in business. I'm sure you've probably done some stupid things in your business too as well. And you've heard of dumb things in your business. So on this episode, we're going to be talking about a lot of the stupid scenarios and things that business owners have done and what we would recommend that they do different. And you'd be surprised. Maybe you might be doing some things that are hurting your business you're not aware of. Stay tuned. Watch this. So we've seen some crazy things in business. And so there's the difference between like something that's crazy, but also something that is just downright stupid. It's so dumb. You're like, why would you do that? You ever see that?
We've seen that before in business?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Have you ever seen that SNL skit with like Sebastian Maniscalco and where they're like, why would you do that? Like, why would you do that? So today we're going to be getting into some of the dumb things that we've seen business owners do. And, just a little bit of a preface here. Like, we get that maybe what we're going to go over is some stuff that we've seen. They're like, okay, it's so stupid, it's so dumb. But maybe you as an audience member are thinking, that's not that dumb. I do that all the time.
I do it every day.
I do it every day of my life. But obviously, like some context around here. Like, there's some things that maybe a doctor's office is doing that's horrible, but on a construction site, not so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not terrible. But I know when we were talking about doing an episode like this, like it was like you all of a sudden were going back in time and your eyes were wigging out. We were like, I got so much stupid stuff that you've seen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it's hard. You start thinking about stuff and then it's all right. How do I take, X amount of years of history and boil it down? But, I think one of the, and you talk about context, right? And I brought this up and you made a good point when I was talking to you about discussing money and discussing personal money of owners in front of employees.
Yeah.
Right. And I know, and you made a good point, right? Like some environments, like the Andy Elliott's of the world, it's going to be motivation or, the Grant Cardones.
Yeah.
But, we're talking about healthcare here and, you have certain individuals. I'll just lay it out. I have this guy that, and I think the two scenarios. Number one is the aspect of just discussing how much the company is making.
Yeah.
And then, then an employee may come to you and say, hey, just, I'm making $50K. I want to make 52. And it's like, get the hell out of here. I'm not giving you a $2,000 raise. And then meanwhile, you just told them you made, $10 million last year.
Yeah.
But the one that really sticks out, like talking about personal wealth, because that's, that's the aspect where employees, they don't have the context. So if you're an owner, a good example of something maybe not to do would be, hey, I just sold something of personal, something that I own. I just sold it for $750,000. And in this instance, it was a trading card. Like a few years back, especially like during COVID, trading cards were exploding, right? Kobe Bryant cards,
that's
Michael
right.
Jordan cards, stuff like that. So this guy, and I love the guy to death, but he's talking in front of a shit ton of employees, including myself, and he's like, yeah, I just sold this card for $750,000. And I'm just like, why would you do that? Why would you say that in front of the staff? Because again, now you're going to turn around and maybe not give somebody a day off or, and we're saying these things, honestly, it's like people don't know what goes into the business. But that's the thing is they don't know. So they don't know how to interpret that. All they know is you just made $750,000 and now you're turning me down for a $2,000 raise. So that's probably one that I would definitely be mindful of, especially in healthcare, is discussing how much the business is actually doing. And then thinking about that when people are coming to you, also knowing that maybe opens up the floodgates for people to say, hey, Antonio, I heard you made $10 million last year. I was going to ask you for $2,000 raise, but can I get $5,000 now? So you kind of open up your own can of worms.
It does, and it makes you a target too. And here's why I think it's kind of dumb. Like, it's stupid for people to do that, because it's like, if you're listening to this, like there's a few things there. One of them is someone just boasting that like, hey, I sold this personal thing for $750,000. It's like, if you can have a staff member that's like struggling and they're just like, fuck this guy.
Yes.
And it's why it's stupid is because it impacts performance. It starts building resentment. It starts hurting your team. So that's one side. And then another one is it's kind of two sides of this coin. I totally get if there's a business where like, hey, we're going over numbers. We're going over top line revenue. And once we hit this mark, we can do like an employee benefits package, make it more robust. We just had someone on the podcast recently that actually went over that. Or hey, we can do like a company thing, or we all get bonuses or whatever. Yeah. You can talk about those numbers to incentivize people, but if you're saying this, hey, we made 10 million, and I'm taking home 2 million myself. have a great day.
Yeah.
Like that's dumb. Like that is so stupid if you're not tying it into how it can help them.
100%.
So stupid.
Yeah, I know. Just,
where do you think that guy's like head was when he was he like just wanting to boast, like wanting to make?
Yeah, that's
like,
all it is. You know, it's I mean, like I know there's this aspect of we like to share good news with friends, but coworkers, you know, and especially employees. Employees are not friends, right? You might have some people that are friendly, or maybe you have one or two key people that hey, I've worked together for so long with them that they're my friend. I can share that with them. But the front desk person that's been there for 6 months, they're not your friend. Yeah. So it's just a matter of wanting to show off and boasting. So whether it's that or maybe, hey Antonio, I bought Google stock when it was $200 and I just sold it. I made $100,000 profit. Okay, I don't need to know that. I'm making 40,
you just ruined my day.
Yeah, I'm making $45K a year, and you just yelled at me yesterday for missing a $20 copay.
Yeah,
so, like,
I had to buy my McDonald's this morning on 2 credit cards, but that's cool. It's good to hear, man.
Yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
it is definitely there's an insecurity aspect. Again, we're talking about healthcare, other industries, very different, but altruistic, trying to get people to jive with the mission and the vision. That's not the way to do it. That's definitely a good one I would start myself off with.
Oh man, there was one that I had, and it was like a med spa, and part of the med spa, what they had like a nail technician. They did nails as well as like facials and everything else, and so what this company had was they worked with an agency to build out a website, and part of like when you build out a website. Especially if there's a lead capture form, it goes to a certain place where you're able to basically see who opted in. And so it was after that was done, like 1 month went by, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. I think it was around that 9-month mark where they were like, man, we're not getting any conversions. We're not getting anything that's coming in. And so I came in as a consultant and I was doing like a SIPOC. I was going through like the very top one. Who supplies the leads? Like where's all your stuff coming from?
Talk about SIPOC would be what?
SIPOC is a system that I use that was created by Motorola with Six Sigma and it stands for suppliers, inputs, processes, outputs, and customers. And it's a way that we find out like what the customer's journey is. And on SIPOC, the S suppliers just basically means where are you getting your leads from? Is it Google Ads? Is it Meta? Is it a referral, word of mouth, right? And so we were asking, like, all right, where are you getting everything from? Like, oh, we do a little bit of Meta, we do a little bit of this. Okay, cool. What's coming in from the website? Like nothing. I was like, well, have you checked? Like, I haven't checked in a while. Like, how long has it been? And so we went through like, oh, it's been 9 months. Where's the spreadsheet? Like, oh, I can't find it. Or I was like, okay, that's pretty dumb, but why don't you go find that and then I'll just continue on. 30 minutes later, one of the team leaders popped her head up. She's like, I found it. I found the list. And I was like, okay, what's on the list? She's like, about 800 leads. And there were about 800 people that were trying to book an appointment for their med spa services, a lot for like nail technician stuff, and actually a few people that were looking for work. Hey, are you hiring? And that was one of the things that we were talking about at that very meeting was they were like, we need to hire some people. We need to find good folks to come on in. And to me, that was so dumb because you're like, okay, so you paid for a service and you haven't monitored anything. And here you are looking for leads, looking for, opportunities to fill up your schedule, to fill up your calendar. You're looking for workers and you did not bother. Like I could have gotten a girl pregnant and delivered with that new baby in the same amount of time that it would have taken you for this. And so it was so dumb because they went backwards on money and they just didn't even look. Like they just straight up didn't even look into just double check. And to me, I remember the person that put her head up where she said like, oh, I found it. We all kind of turned our head slowly. Like, bitch, where was it? Like, where the fuck was this thing? And and she got into it, and we were just like, the owner was kind of livid because it was her responsibility, but it was kind of the business owner's responsibility.
Yeah, I'm like, number one, why'd you wait 9 months?
Yeah, I mean, why'd you wait? Crazy, like, why would you do that?
We're spending this money, and we just finally decided to think, look, hey, are we getting leads from it? Like, what the hell are you doing? And it's just such a common mistake, dude. Like, I can't imagine. It's the more I've got into consulting and just talking to business owners, it just boggles my mind how many of them, they start some marketing objective Or, it's like we're just
And
spending
they don't
money.
check on it.
It's not even like number one. Well, they don't even know what the hell they're going after. It's like, so they don't even check on it. But then, all right, what's the goal? Like, I don't know, clients, business,
Leads,
like,
yeah.
all right, how many? Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and then like I said, just waiting 9 months to say like, yeah, is this actually working? Like, this point, like you could have like delivered
Yeah.
a kid in that time. It's like we're just finding out now where the leads are. It's just crazy, man. It's just,
It was causing so much strain. It was like they were like, what the hell is going on? Like it was all of that. And it was just the basic, just going back and finding out where those spreadsheets were. And then once we got that, by the way, just to finish out the story, was we found what we did at that point was we created a strategy to just go in and swoop everything up, like basically a re-engagement campaign. So the people that wanted to jump onto the calendar before in the past that just didn't because no one got in contact with them, doing a series of emails to nurture, get them back in, get them on the calendar, get them booked, and then the ones that were looking for work actually interview them. And so what it did was it created a really good surge, and their quality of work is really good. And so the referral rate went up, the booking went up, everything went up, and now they're able to keep track of everything.
here's the other thing, and I probably cut you off when you were saying it, but the owner is like pissed off. But then this is a prime example of how to delegate. And number one, as an owner, don't you want to know, all right, I'm spending money, what am I getting out of it? But then number two, it's also just a really bad example of how to delegate. Just because, well, it's Antonio's job. Okay, but who's checking to see if Antonio is actually doing the job correctly?
Yeah.
Right, so that I agree. That's definitely, she dropped the ball. But you got to look at yourself as owner in that example and say, man, I didn't do a great job following up either.
Yeah, so I look at that being like a dumb business decision because like if you're going to be doing anything, like follow up on it, be on top of it, like double check where it's at. And so if you're going to start working with a marketing agency, if you're going to get a website, if you're going to get whatever it is, it's stupid to not look at it. Like, would you really plant a seed in your farm and just not look at it for a while? Like you got to cultivate and work it. And so it's just kind of the same thing. So stuff like that, where they're just too hands off, is really, really done because they made that investment.
Yeah. So the one I'm going to go to next would be definitely about resource allocation and then just focusing on the priorities. So, I was working with an owner and his biggest complaint or frustration about medical providers is they don't know their retention wasn't good. They don't know how to talk to patients. They don't know how to get them motivated. They don't know how to ask them those kind of questions that, help patients understand, all right, I really need to do this because, we're talking about, physical therapy, chiropractic treatment, stuff that is going to take usually multiple visits a week, not like going to an orthopedic doctor where it's once a month. So he's frustrated. They're failing in his eyes. And he gets a solution presented to him, which is, hey, you could do this high-intense business results training through Tony Robbins. So they go to the practice for 2 or 3 days, and they talk about how to understand that exact issue, patients' motivations, how to talk to them in a way that gets them to come in more often, essentially dealing with the issue. So his response was, well, I don't have, our AR is a little backed up, so I'm not going to do that right now. And then takes the same amount of money that he could have hired a high-level coach to help transform the organization and threw it into billboards. Now, I know some of you probably saying, all right, well, billboards, they're great, right? When in reality, to your point, he wasn't even measuring return on investment. And then number two, well, one of the billboards wasn't even a branding kind of billboard. It was a billboard designed to more or less mock one of his competitors, right? So I'm like,
well,
yeah. So on one hand, though, you're saying, I don't have the money to actually potentially fix the issue, right? And I say potentially because it's not a guarantee, but I don't have the money to invest in my team to actually get them to a point where our retention's great and our conversions are great. But let me take that same amount of money and just throw it into something that, generally speaking, doesn't actually get many patients.
It's so hard. I mean, with billboards, like, because at least if you're doing like a meta campaign or if you're doing something like with Google, you can track success or failure just through the numbers. But a billboard is like, it's so indirect. Like you don't, unless that person actually comes in and tells you, or they're on the phone, like, I saw you through a billboard. That's it. So he basically paid something like that. In fact, a little bit more.
A little more for the billboards.
A little bit more versus having someone come in that actually can help with the specific issue, which is around the kind of patient experience.
Yeah. So instead of fixing a problem, you just throw money somewhere else, and it's like the same amount. Like,
so it would be like a hotel chain, and the like here in Vegas, like it's a hotel chain, and people are having a horrible experience, or the surveys, like they're not coming back. You're losing your patrons, and then and instead of like bolstering your customer service and delivering better customer excellence, you go build a statue.
Yeah, or like, hey, we improved the pool. Like, that's what,
It's
yeah,
like,
yeah, it's like,
so
yeah,
stupid.
we spent the money on improving the pool. Like, yeah, but you're not getting anybody to stay at the hotel,
Yeah,
so what's the difference?
They washed the carpets.
Yeah.
You're like, you're so dumb.
I
dude.
know, but
Why-
you're not getting anybody.
and it
coming
costs
in.
more too.
Yes. So that's one. It's just really focusing on how to actually fix the problem. Nothing's
Yeah.
foolproof. But just how are we spending the money and why are we spending it this way?
Did he come back around and
No.
just no?
He just wanted
He
to
just ate that, huh?
Yeah, just wanted to keep complaining about the lack of performance. And that's one of the things that we were just talking about, even on the marketing end of it, is, all right, what are you actually getting out of that? And that's, to your point, well, it's really hard to track. How many clients or patients you're getting from a billboard? It's definitely some brand exposure if you do it the right way, but you still don't know what it's actually doing for you. Versus, all right, it's pretty tangible. What can happen if we get the employees better, or if we get the providers better to have these kind of conversations? Tangible. Your retention gets better, and then you start seeing the revenue go up.
Yeah,
So,
you can 100% measure it. There's one where, so I saw this kind of from a distance, and I kind of saw it with one of our own clients, but then also someone from a distance that we both know personally. And I think one of the dumb things that you can do as a business owner is like flaunt your stuff. Like, I totally get with some brands, it's like they're flashing their watch, flashing their cars, flashing everything. And then they are on their social media talking about they've been hacked. They've been, someone fleeced them for 50 grand. Like they got into their accounts, found out their passwords, pulled out money, so on and so forth. And another one where these kind of high level scammers created emails that looked almost exactly like their emails, but they had like a dot in there, a little thing, a little something that you could not, it's very hard to tell. And so with cybersecurity being on the rise, like one of the dumbest things that you can do is do that, especially if your cybersecurity isn't bulletproof with your company. Like, and we had a guest some time back where we're talking about cybersecurity and how a lot of clinics and practices, like they are getting throttled in a lot of ways with cybersecurity. And what do you think these teams are doing? They're kind of scouring the internet to try to find those people. They're like, oh, he has money. Yeah. Let's pay him a little bit of visit. Let's get some information. And so I think one of the dumbest things is like when you're flaunting your stuff, and then you notice like, actually, you know what? I think about it. One of our other guests, Chad, was hacked, and it was a pretty penny.
Yeah.
It's
not cheap.
Almost 7 figures. Right. And this was actually like about a couple months ago. And then our other person with Cody, that's what happened with like 50 grand. And then our own client too, they got fleeced, and he wasn't really like flaunting anything. I just think it was just a victim of cybersecurity, but don't do that. Yeah. Like unless you have that, it's like, okay. So if you have no locks on your house, you have no fence, you have completely transparent windows. Like why would you have your gold bars right on the ledge? Why would you have all your valuable stuff right there where people can see when there's like no locks and no doors on your house? Yeah. It's stupid to do that.
So the guest, shout out to Larry Trotter, Inherent Security. Check him out. Phenomenal guy. But yeah, it's, that aspect too, though, is just nobody cares. Again, like I know for some people,
nobody cares.
Yeah. It's like, look at me. It's like you're attracting people. It's like, if that's your ideal customer, cool, great. But clearly we're talking healthcare. Like nobody cares how much money you make. Like just, or like what your status is. And to your point, you're just saying, hey, who wants that? It's like telling someone I want a vacation. It's like, all right, that's cool. Like, if I'm a crook, let me go find out where, now that I know you're not home, let me break in. Yeah.
It's really, really, really dumb to do that in this day and age, especially when you don't have those things fortified. Yeah. So, don't flaunt it for a couple of reasons. People are over that. I think in like the early era of social media, people buy the airplane, buy the Rolls Royce. They're like, oh, but now it's like, it's so cheesy now. It just doesn't convert.
I'll add a little side note. It's just, it's not so common sense, but it's actually just bulletproofing your cybersecurity. Like you said, it's just, it's whether your organization, I mean, you mentioned the client that recently got hacked. It was through the manager's phone that they got into the Wi-Fi. So take this serious, man. People are figuring out creative ways. Like Larry said in that episode too, it's a lot of times just mistakes by your own staff. I was talking, oh my God, I forget who the hell I was just talking to recently, and they were complaining about, oh, that's what it was. There's a chiropractor that I go to, and he got bought out by private equity, and he was just complaining to me recently. They have us watching all these damn cybersecurity training videos. It's like, I don't understand. This shit's so boring. I'm like, well, they're on to something. And I was telling him some of the stuff Larry was telling us on that episode. He was like, I was like, yeah, so it's a good point that they're actually drilling this. So side note, make sure you start drilling cybersecurity and hire somebody for that as well. I think maybe not the last one, dude, but oh my God, this one was so frustrating is, actually I got one that me and you hadn't talked about, which is hiring people who aren't a good fit. Maybe it's like a little related to what we're discussing, but we had this organization that hired this doctor essentially to act as kind of like a functional medicine doctor. So it was really more about the wellness and preventative and getting people in shape outside of helping them with their pain. And he just wasn't, it wasn't his thing. That wasn't his traditional background. He was more of a primary care doctor and internal medicine doctor who definitely knew his stuff, but that wasn't his realm. He's like, so wasn't a good experience for him. Wasn't really great for the company. And literally everybody's just like, we gotta move on from him. He's not happy. Let's get rid of him. So I'm in the room. It's me, the owner, and the CEO. And the CEO is the one who came up with the idea to bring him on board. So you know how that goes. You make a decision, you hire somebody, and then some of us who are leaders, we want to double down on what our decision was. So the frustrating part here is we're talking as a team, and it's, all right, you know what? Let's get rid of him. It's not working out. And I'm like, thank God, bro. Like, finally we got some clarity. And then I shit you not, 10 seconds goes by, and he just gets up and he's like, fuck that. We're going to make this work. I'm just like, dude, what the hell were we just talking about for the last hour? So this aspect of, and so we kept him on, and shocker, it didn't work out. And we ended up getting rid of him anyway, and just made it worse. So this aspect of, I really take two things from that. Number one is, you got people around you, trusted people ideally, to help you improve the decision making, and especially if you're not the one, maybe, oh my God, what's it called? Just like you're not the one on the ground, you're not boots on the ground with the employees and working with them. So you're relying on information from people who are. So you get that information to help you make a better decision, and then you still ignore it anyway, which is the first mistake, which this guy had a track record of doing because he thought he knew better. But then there's that aspect of, let's invest more into something that's not working. It's like that sunk cost fallacy, right? It's like, I got this thing that's not working, so let's put more resources into it. And then it just ends up fucking failing anyway.
Yeah. It's kind of a couple things like why I think that's dumb is because you have hired people because you pay people off the judgments or the judgment calls that they make. And if you're not heeding that, like, what's the point? So not only is you're throwing more money at a problem, but you're also going further into the hole by paying for the labor of those people that you're not even listening to. Yes. It's like, getting a personal trainer and also a dietitian, and they're making you food and everything. And you are not eating the food, you're throwing it away. It's going bad. You're not even doing the workouts, and you're complaining about it. And
it's like, are you sure sugar's really not good for me? Like, I don't know. Yeah.
And they're not listening. And like, at what point would you say, like, that person's pretty stupid? Like why are you spending money on that, on a personal trainer and a dietitian to not do the workouts and not eat it? Yes. So like, why is that team on board to help you if you're not going to listen to
That's
them?
why, I love it when people throw out, I almost hate the phrase, but they're like, what's the ROI? What's the return on investment? And then they do shit like that. And it's just like, bro, you're literally just throwing money away. Yeah. So you're talking about return on investment. It's a negative return here.
And I think it pisses people off because that everyone has that kind of I told you so feeling whether they admit it or not, like, oh, this didn't work out. Shocker, right? Like, I fucking told you, dude. I told you that's not going to work. I told you this. And then those pile up where now you can have a really, really good, talented person that is like responsible for areas of the business that is going down and looks bad on him, but it's because he's being like overwritten by the owner. Yeah. And it's like, this is not mine.
It makes the team look bad.
It makes the team look bad, dude. You know, speaking of kind of making the team look bad, like there was one situation I saw, and this kind of happens all over. So you see it in construction, you see it in home services, you see it in all kinds of different places, and it's not good for a couple of reasons, which is people got into shouting matches in front of like team members, and you're like, you know, F you this was like back and forth, da, 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 and you're watching it like with a bag of popcorn, like, oh my God, it's this awkward dinner table moment. And then people feel like sometimes they have to go into personal stuff in order to win, and people get lost in the emotion of arguments. And one of the worst things and dumbest things you can do as a business owner is air out someone else's dirty laundry. Because like when you're in close quarters with a lot of employees, like sometimes they let you know, like, hey, I'm staying over at my friend's house because like I got caught cheating on my wife, and like this is what's happening, and so I just, you know, I'm kind of going through this, and they're like, okay, got it, like let's work through it. Or someone else is going through a divorce, and it's just stuff that needs to be between ownership, the manager.
Thanks for sharing it.
Yeah. And sometimes when you're in the heat of it, it's just like, well, that's why Gertrude left you, and this and that, and people are like, what?
That's why you got cheated on.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, that's a lawsuit. Like that is like, especially if you're doing things in front of people, you never ever want to do that for a multitude of reasons. But like when you publicly embarrass somebody, they will go. People typically go to the ends of the earth to get back at you.
Yeah.
So you never do that because of someone's resolve for vengeance. And that looks very different from person to person. Like you may not want to piss off the wrong person, and then your tires are slashed with your electrical company's vehicles, which right, or just a lawsuit. So dumbest things you can do is just get heated, and because you're the owner, you want to get that win, that leg up, and then you start saying things that should have been private, and that could be really, really ugly for a business.
Yeah, I mean, way to ruin any trust, right? I mean,
ruin trust.
You think, all right, if I'm the kind of person that they told that to, they must trust me. Well, that's gone, and then nobody else is gonna trust you. And then honestly, like the stuff that you say in public, right? If that's what you say in public, what do you say behind closed doors? How much crap are you talking about me when I'm not around, and when everybody else is not around? So that's another aspect. And then I know you're talking about lawsuits and slash tires, but then even just something as like going on social media. I mean, your whole brand could be destroyed in 2 seconds, right? Somebody walks, hey, you know, I'm just gonna resign, and then, hey, let me start filming and tell you about this story. And then, this person got 500,000 likes and 40,000 comments and 39,500 on what an a-hole owner. Let's never go to that clinic.
Dude, people do some wild stuff where if you're not careful. I mean, what was that guy recently where he was on that Coldplay concert and he got caught with his HR person?
Paulo, I think it was,
Yeah, so we don't recommend you do that at all. But yeah, there's some. Here's like a really, really quick one where people will take that and then they'll try to go undercover. So when Johnny Depp was going through his lawsuit, his recent divorce with what's her name, the blonde,
like which divorce you're talking about?
The most recent
one on Netflix, or Amber Heard.
Amber Heard, yes, that's the one. And Amber was like trying to egg Johnny on, and she was filming. She was like recording, and she was trying to say and do things to get him to snap, because she was going to use that. She already had that. And you see that actually a lot in business where like you have some staff that are trying to get something recorded for a lawsuit, or they're trying to show something that's happening that's poor business practices to kind of get after you too. So that is so hard to measure, but when you are on good terms with people, like the probability of that is a lot lower. But if you're screwing people over, you're making them feel dumb, you're embarrassing them, you're humiliating them, you're airing out their dirty laundry in front of everybody, like those are the people that are, they could very well get back at you.
Yeah. So I mean, this
kind
is
of dumb. Yeah.
So
Don't do that.
This is just a few stories we hit on, but and again, I know some people are probably saying, like, why would anybody ever do this? But
People are people,
even
man.
even
Yeah.
just and I know these were very maybe a little bit more on the aggressive side, but the fact of the matter is, a lot of us, even if you're listening, saying, all right, well, I don't yell at employees, I don't flaunt anything, I don't even tell them where I'm going on vacation because I don't want to make them maybe feel bad. Like, I'm going to Aruba and they can't even afford to take a trip out of Vegas when they live in Vegas. But there's a lot of stuff that we do that other people would say that was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
But it's like very innocent.
And it's relative too.
Yeah, it's like very innocent. I mean, I think about my own experiences, like myself, and like I wasn't doing any of that stuff, but maybe I got a little temper here and there. But then it's just maybe it's just the behavior.
a couple of flip desks.
Maybe it's just, and that was only once when everybody went home. But but it's just maybe you make like you said, you make a little comment in passing, and then I think about some of the stuff. I'm like, oh my god, dude, how did I say that shit? And it's just you're young or you're stupid, and you're just not thinking. You get passionate. And it's just, or, you're very innocent and you're just like, I didn't think of it. Or, I didn't know what I was saying there, but so it's not just these horrible behaviors that, somebody would say, oh, those are toxic behaviors.
Yeah.
It's just sometimes the innocent stuff can rub people the wrong way, or maybe you say something or do something that it's actually pretty detrimental to the organization. So it's just a matter of being aware.
Yeah. I mean, so I had a call earlier today with someone that's in home services, and they had we basically discovered like a really big, so we had so earlier today I had a call with someone that was in home services, and they had like a really big concern, which was they have someone that they brought into their business that's basically helping them build out like an inventory matrix, and they have complete autonomy over it, and she does not, and she's the owner. So why this is dumb, right? Because you have a business that's highly dependent on that matrix working. In other words, like if you're like in sales or marketing or any other business, imagine if you had an employee that set up your entire CRM and you have no access to it. Stupid, right?
Yeah.
Right. So like, because they can hold you hostage.
Yep.
There's a lot of things they can do. So that is a massive exposure point where, quite frankly, that's more common with businesses where it's like the banking passwords and everything are held by one person and you don't know them.
Yeah, so
right.
What's the business credit card number again? Like, you're the owner, don't you have it? Like, nah, I have this person.
Yeah, and then they changed everything. Now they have it.
Yeah,
and so the stuff that we talked about, with the billboards and everything, it's like, yeah, that's pretty stupid. Like, it's dumb. But this other stuff, it's so hard to just label as like that's dumb or it's stupid. But it's like they're just naive.
Yes,
and I don't know that. And it's not until you actually have that conversation. It was like today, like we had a conversation with them, and it was like, wait a minute. You're held by the balls by this particular employee, and if they decide to do X, you are absolutely screwed. You're dead in the water in your business. And she's like, I did not even look at it that way.
Well, yeah, and there's this aspect of either you said you're naive or you're a little too trusting, but
or
then
flat ignorance, like they just don't know.
But then and then what you see in healthcare a lot is that owner who's also a clinician. So they want to focus, I'm just going to focus on treating patients, which means stuff like that, passwords and whatnot, I'm going to let somebody else handle it. And then, time comes, that person maybe leaves, and then it's, hey, what's the password? I don't know. Where did Jennifer keep it? We don't know.
Yeah.
Now you're stuck.
I've
seen that happen.
As crazy as it sounds, it's like this stuff actually happens where you're probably sitting there like, no, not me. And it's like, maybe not with the financials, but it could be something else.
Absolutely.
Insurance paperwork or whatever it is. So yeah, it can get pretty gnarly. And kind of like the best thing to do is like always connect with a coach, connect with us. Like if that's something that you're like, okay, maybe there's some areas of my business that I'm not aware of that could be a significant exposure point. And I need a second set of eyes just to make sure that everything is good, everything is Gucci, and maybe there's opportunities there. So if you're kind of if you are in that boat, get in contact with us, book a call with us, and Dan and I'd be happy to help you.
No doubt.
Cool.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, no, at the end of the day, it's just, like I said, even if you're doing the right stuff, right? We give a lot of examples of, oh my God, look at this horrible stuff. But how many of you out there have, put money into something that had no benefit for the company? Right, versus, all right, maybe I should have allocated those resources differently. Or, maybe you double down on a bad decision, that maybe your office manager told you wasn't going to work out. So it's just, again, there's innocent stuff. And at the end of the day, even if you're saying we're operating at a high level, there's always things that you're missing. Like the best of organizations miss stuff, right? Because you can't catch everything. So even if it's just, dude, we're crushing it, what's the big deal? Well, what's the next level look like? How are you focused on optimization, constantly getting better? And to Antonio's point, that's what I say is the benefits of bringing out somebody from the outside is they can see the areas that maybe you're missing because you're so busy during the day-to-day. So to this point, book a call. We'll have a link in the show description. Other than that, appreciate you guys checking it out. Catch you next time.